Welcome to Second Sake, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Klima joins me today to unpack the latest coming out of the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
Now, the South African Diamond Producers Association is pleading to be allowed to create jobs in the alluvial diamond sector.
Yes, the small diamond producers are really struggling at the moment, as well as the big diamond producers. So everyone in diamonds is really struggling. But at the same time, this is an urgent plea because you can lay the foundation for a new industry if you do things correctly now. Now, this particular industry, they mine alluvial diamonds. So it's different to digging deep and going for kimberlites. But these diamonds are really, the endowment is huge, they're exceptional, they're unique. But what we need to do is we need to facilitate this. You can't have a one-size-fits-all. In other words, you can't have legislation for big mining groups and expect it to fit the small mining groups that need to be very mercurial. We've still got this farm fence idea that mineral rights are awarded and mining rights according to the farm fences. Now, that with the alluvial and following rivers, that needs to be speeded up. If you're going to continue with that, you need to permit very rapidly, not more than 12 months. And what is happening is that not only do we not have proper legislation to fit these small miners, but also in the towns where they operate. The towns of Douglas, Schweitzer, you've got unemployment rates of up at 70%. If you can get these people going again, you will reduce those unemployment rates. So you need to open the way to allow these small miners to start creating wealth so that the wealth can also go into the jobs and you create jobs in those areas. The miners are very willing to do this. They feel intensely struggled at the moment. They need an option from government to open up. If government gives them that, I think this could really enlarge the small mining sector of alluvial diamonds. And we are going to be working with them for quite some time to try and draw attention to the huge, exceptional possibilities that can arise from a lot of small but well-organized miners to get these diamonds to market. The thing is, there's new technology now that wasn't employable in the past. If you can get that going, you're going to do much better for the economy. But what needs to happen is at the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, they need to recognize that you need a special fit for these smaller people to be able to facilitate them, to be able to move fast. And then they can do a lot for the South African economy and for foreign exchange through exports.
And the Industrial Development Corporation has said it will explore its options to protect the future of Kalagadi Manganese, which has opposed business rescue proceedings.
Yes, I think that Kalagadi Manganese is resisting business rescue at the moment. But, they are doing it on the basis that they've got enough money for operational capital. I don't think that really cuts it because, they owe 3 billion rand to the Industrial Development Corporation. They owe 2.9 billion rand to the Development Bank, to the African Development Bank. And against that background, they need to be able to service those loans. And it's not a situation that's developed because of COVID-19. Obviously, that has worsened it. But this was developing for some time. And I think that if you've got an asset like that, which really belongs to the country, as it were, because you've got to get licensing, we really own, as South Africans, those sort of assets. Companies are just in there as contractors to extract value. If they are not able to do that economically, they must step aside for business rescue, particularly when this is being made by a state entity, a state corporation, the Industrial Development Corporation, saying to them, we would like to help you to help your 1,153 employees. And you see down the road, other manganese operations, one of them listed in Australia, doing brilliantly. They are absolutely flying. They've got Transnet there, they've got all sorts of export plans. They're the biggest exporters at the moment. I'm talking about Jupiter. Now, why can't the Kalagadi come anywhere close to what this other company has done? So I think they have to look at themselves in the mirror. They have to allow IDC and everyone else to try and help them. But at the moment, they have won the initial court case because the judge decided that this wasn't urgent because they had operational capital. But I don't think operational capital is sufficient. You know, you've got to be able to pay your debts. You've got to be sustainable. And that's what needs to happen now. They need to burst the veil. And this is a problem with private companies. You know, that I think that the IDC in future should be very cautious when it comes to listing in investing in non-listed companies, because you can't look inside them. And if they don't open the door properly, you know, what can you do? But this is in South Africa's interest now, because we as the people of South Africa actually own that manganese. They are there as contractors to get it out. If they cannot get it out efficiently, they must step aside and allow that to happen.
And lastly, Mozambique has implemented a full online license processing system, ironically overtaking South Africa.
You know, this really is quite embarrassing, because you've got a neighboring country who for the last 17 years has been ahead of South Africa when it comes to cadastres. Cadastres are there to show the world what sort of exploration possibilities there are, what sort of mineral rights have been allocated, what other possible mineral rights can be allocated, to give you a picture of what is in the ground, to assist you. And 17 years ago, you know, they adopted a technology which was actually produced in South Africa. But South Africa spurned it and said, no, we've got a much better technology. They introduced the SAMRAD, which has really been trundling along, and it's just been evoking criticism, because people really say it gets you nowhere fast. So I think that the government owes it, as the custodian of these assets in the ground, to open up and use the proper technology which is now available. All of a sudden, Mozambique has not only got the sort of traditional type of cadastre technology, but it's rocketed now with new e-government type technology, which I see is also being adopted in Australia at the moment. And again, this stems back to what originated in South Africa in terms of available technology. So the technology is there. The Mozambicans have seen it. They're using it for the benefit of their country. People can get on their computers and see what is available. We have all sorts of problems when we try and do that here, and they're just nothing but complaints about, you know, our system. Yet the department does not change it. They promised, and we were there as Mining Weekly, you know, many years ago, and they said, "Wow, this is going to change everything." Well, it hasn't. You know, you've got a lot of layers of information, but people are not able to access it in the way that they do quickly in other countries. And this is stopping our exploration. We see exploration is not going ahead, and we see mining is a shadow of its former self. So this is hurting the people of South Africa. The government must now put something in that works for once and for all.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Session.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.